Hey guys, I'm James, and with me is John,
I'm John.
and we tried to podcast. Today we are gonna just reminisce about 2022, talk about our best experiences, our best, I don't know, games and things we've enjoyed in the past year of 2022, and maybe look forward into 2023 a little bit, depending on how John feels. We've had some discussions about that. Maybe before we get into like the stuff, how was 2022 to you just in general, John?
I don't really know. Just
That's fair.
because I just feel like, I mean, I don't know that I ever look back at the end of a year and really think too much about it. Like some people do, like during New Year's or whatever. But just for me, I just feel like since the pandemic, like since 2019, this has all just been one long year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like it's just weird. It's just still a weird time to me. I guess 2022 felt more normal than, 19, 20, 21. But Jesus, we're 4 years. That's 4 years.
I guess.
And that's ridiculous. Was it 2019 that it
I think it
started?
might have been 2020. I
Oh,
think
okay.
2019 is when we started hearing reports from
Okay, but it wasn't until
China.
March of 2020 that we got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, so then 2020, 2021, those were really a wash. Like those were really just like one year that just went by. 2022, there was a lot that happened that was good as well. I feel like I saw more. Well, I guess just compared to those previous 2 years, I saw people more. Obviously, like because when we were like not locked down, but when we were supposed to be socially distancing and whatever, I really did, take that pretty seriously.
Yeah.
So I saw my family more in 2022. I saw my dad. I saw a lot of people actually. My stepdad, who I hadn't seen in a really long time. And then I did things that I hadn't, done like before, like when I was, working on the music video or, stuff like that. I started a new job, and that was technically actually the previous year, but it was at the end of it. So it was like
Yeah,
really
yeah.
that was like the first full year of it. Um, so it's just been, whatever. Not, it wasn't like a special year, but it wasn't a bad year. It just was what it was.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat of I had some ups, like this podcast, I had some downs. And like look, when I start thinking of downs, I'm like, that's a bit too much right now. And I had my mez, the everyday shit. But yeah, it was a year. We got through it. I think for me, I think in the beginning of the year, I think this happens a lot. There was a lot of, okay, I'm gonna do this with my life. And especially with us starting the podcast and things like that, I was like, I'm gonna try to do this, this, and this. And really the only thing I kept up was with the podcast, in a lot of ways, which is fine. But now with this being 2023, I think I'm set up better now to do the things I wanted to do last year, this year. But I guess we'll see. Yeah, I guess we're gonna just talk about some of the things we enjoyed, from media to just straight up experiences we've had of 2022. Um, I'm just gonna throw this one out because I had we talked about this before, John, but you didn't read any books. I tried to make it a thing where I read more books last year, and I did pretty good until I started that tech boot camp thing I did. But one of the books I read that I really enjoyed that still kind of still in my head was The Final Girl Support Group. Uh, I should have wrote down the author for that. Give me 1 minute. It's by Grady Hendrix. It's a fun novel. It kind of takes like all the 80 all the like 80 90s horror films that had final girls like kind of pretend they were real. So actually, kind of some of the fun is like, oh, this final girl is from Scream. This final girl is from Friday the 13th and stuff like that, and trying to piece all that together while also going on this adventure. And it's crazy. It was fun. I'm probably gonna get some more books by the author this year. Actually, I'm planning on going to Barnes and Noble sometime this month and pick up some more books, even though I have a big pile over there that I should probably get through.
I have something I want to contribute to reading now.
Oh,
It wasn't a book. So, because I was thinking, man, what like I really don't read anymore, but I read a lot of articles. I just don't think
hmm,
about it that way because they're not books, you know. But some articles might as well be books. Um, this one, I don't know if it was my favorite thing that I read, but it just I can't get it out of my mind because it's just so insane to me. It was a article on Vanity Fair called "Scene Stealer," and it's about a writer who for Grey's Anatomy, one of the biggest shows, right? Like that
right.
thing's been on for decades now or something
Oh,
ridiculous.
is
Like
it
it's a,
still going?
I think it's get winding down now, I think. But it's
Wow.
still
Okay.
yeah. There was a writer who had like this whole crazy backstory and all these personal traumas and she's, you know, gone through, you know, cancer and all this kind of stuff and due partly to some of these things she got hired cuz like it fits with like using your own experience to, you know,
Right. Right.
feed the
Right.
show, right? It was all a lie.
Fucking do it.
And when you read the article, you're like, how does someone get away with this for so long? Because she wasn't just living a double life, she was living like a triple life. She had her life with her family, where they knew her as she was, you know. I mean,
Right.
I say as she was around them, because obviously she's someone totally different away from them. She had her life on the show as the writer with her work life, but then she's in a relationship where she has a totally different life and a different name.
Uh. I
So
mean.
I'm good.
I mean. I for us normal people, that's fucking ridiculous. But also, I feel like we're seeing a lot of that. Where what's his name in the House of Representatives? Santos, whatever.
Oh. Yeah, but I feel like that's is it 3 lives or are we just find and he just got in. So it's like we're finding out pretty quickly. She was a successful writer on a show for however long and again it's 3 different lives. Like she's
Yeah.
got her family life, her relationship. When I say her relationship, I I don't know. I don't want to put things into the article that didn't happen, but I think they got married even. And like
Ugh.
this person didn't know who they married,
Yeah.
you know? And then on the show, she was still working on the show, and then these things start crossing. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like she's starting to have to lie her way through lies to like keep the lies going, and it's just like it was just crazy.
I
Anyway, scene
also,
stealer.
I feel like that's a common story for writers, though.
Oh, is it?
I feel like I've heard that before for like writers saying they had these experiences to try to get onto shows that have
Oh,
specific themes or
no, I feel like no, okay, I get that, but there's a difference between that and then trying to like live out those lives for like
that's
the
true.
rest
That's
of your
true.
life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and then it, again lying to your loved ones, you know, your family, your significant other, like it's
Yeah.
just crazy. But yeah, people do that all the time, especially you're right, writers, because not only just outright lying about experiences to say that they know something, but also like taking other people's, right? So like a lot of writers
Yeah.
use experiences of like family members and friends to like, you know, to write because you no one person could experience all the shit
Yeah.
that you're trying to create. But
I I don't know why this keeps popping in my head, but in Tropic Thunder, like the writer of the book being like coming out and saying like he made it all up and stuff. Like the movie that book is
yeah.
you know, like people are fucking crazy. Like good on them, I guess. Being able to do that, I wish I could.
In a way, Yeah, because there's like a
Yeah.
confidence you have to have to get what you want and to keep up with what it is you're saying. Like, because like I can't even like lie on my resume, right? And if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
and if I was willing to, I'm pretty good at like selling things. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like if I was willing to do it, I probably could be one of those people that get away with it.
Yeah, I know you're good at selling things. I've played board games with you. Uh, can you actually send me a link to that article?
Sure.
I'll put it in the description for the podcast, and in case anyone wants to go read it.
Yeah, it's long, but it also has a like you know how articles you can listen to it now instead of
Oh
like
yeah,
kind of like a
yeah.
podcast. So you have that option for people who don't want to.
That's weird. I'm still getting used to that.
Yeah.
I think I would still read it. But I'm gonna actually put links to everything we talk about that have links associated with. Like more than likely our experiences won't have links.
Yeah.
But for the books, the articles and stuff, uh go check the description. And I don't know, maybe you'll enjoy it too. I guess let's talk about video games. Both me and John, we are avid video gamers.
Yeah. I mean, I still play games, but I play a lot less games. Like obviously I play like a lot of one game that I'm actually going to
Yeah.
bring up as a part of it.
Well, of course. Here's the thing. For a bit, I was like, man, I'm not really playing games like I used to. And then PlayStation was like, hey, do you want to see your year in review? I'm like, sure. And then it's like 150 hours on Fortnite. I'm like, fuck. Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. How many games do you have on your list? I got 4.
Best experiences?
Games.
Cuz like I really only made a 2 list thing, but
That's fine.
hold on. Wait, no, but hold on. I want to see real quick what I played. I know what I've only expanded it to 3. Actually, I'm just going to leave it at the 2. I'm going to leave it at the 2.
Well, I'm going to name one that I think you had some experience with as well. Wordle.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I totally fell off of Wordle and forgot about it, but it
I
was
still
amazing.
play it every day.
I wish I did because that was one of the things that was keeping me somewhat in contact with people that I wouldn't otherwise, and I've fallen off in like talking to those people, but like we would start our day with Wordle and then it'd be like after it was, we both sent our completion, whatever, then, you say something, you have like a little
Yeah,
conversation
yeah.
or whatever. So that was nice, but I totally fell off.
Right now, I only do it with my sister.
Mhm.
We send each other, the blah. And sometimes it's just, we send it and we go, oh, good job, nice, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's a conversation starter or whatever. But like that's the start of our days. Or sometimes with her, like she'll be up at like 1 o'clock in the morning because she's anxious about something. And then all of a sudden I get it. I'm
Mhm.
like, fuck, now I have to do
Mhm.
it. uh, but yeah, I mean, that's been a fun little puzzle game that so far I've been doing a lot. So I have a streak of 177 days, and I've played 376 days. Yeah, it's a fun little game. How about one of your games?
Well, I'm just gonna start with the one because it's not a game that came out last year,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but you
it,
played
it
it.
not just played it, I play it a shit ton, right? Apex Legends,
You're a content creator for the game.
I guess. But
I mean, you are.
okay. But the reason why I still want to not just because I played it the most of any game I played, but for me, I have a much more limited experience on Apex than like the real Apex fans or whatever, all the ones that are like cracked out of their minds in the game because they've been playing since the beginning or whatever. But for me, the best season since I've been playing was last year. Now, the season I started, I think was also really good, but I was too shitty at the game to like appreciate it.
Mm.
But in 2022, there was a season 14, I believe it was called Hunted. They had a map that was an old map that they brought back, Kings Canyon. For me, I just had the most fun playing that season with the tweaks they made, you know, and I don't really know what they did differently, but that was the best I ever was at the game too. Like I just, unless I'm just playing against better competition right now, I was just popping off during that
Right.
season. And specifically that map was like one of my favorite maps, and I would play, that's how I got Garrett into the game. Like he wasn't really into it. Then we tried that season, and that map, something just, clicked, and we were just playing like almost every day. I haven't played as much as I did that season either since.
Yeah. I wish I can say more. I put
No, no,
money
no,
down
it's
on
fine.
Apex.
Yeah, I mean, we had the last time it wasn't bad. It's just we haven't been able to really play since. And then, like I said, I haven't been feeling good. I don't really play with anyone anymore because I'm like, I'm not gonna enjoy it. Like I, it's just gonna be us just dropping and dying, dropping and dying, dropping and dying, and like that's basically what's happening to me. So I don't stay on as long. I'll get on and I'm like, okay, this is already frustrating me. I'm getting off.
Yeah, for me, like I didn't enjoy playing Apex by myself. Like with Fortnite, I can play by myself. Not only that, I can just do a bunch of like I can just go fishing in
Oh my
Fortnite.
god, this is an infamous quote, by the way. I don't think you know this.
What?
Garrett is with me that you're a lunatic. Like, because remember, I lost my mind when you said that, and then I forgot what we were talking about. Totally unprompted. I don't even know that I knew he listened to the episode at that point. I think we were playing Apex. I don't know the context. I just remember him
Okay.
going, "This man plays Fortnite to fish." That's what he said.
Oh, okay. Okay, can I define that a little bit?
Go ahead.
So, Fortnite has multiple different systems that isn't just killing people. And they have daily, weekly quests. So there's something, and sometimes the quests are like, "Hey, catch 10 fishes, do this, do that, blah blah blah," and they're not all, "Hey, fucking kill a person," or "Hey, kill a person with a shotgun." So I get a lot of enjoyment going in and then doing those quests and knocking them off one by one and gaining levels. Like for this season, I'm already up to like 94 levels. There's something enjoyable about just having the numbers keep going up and completing these different tasks. Where in Apex, I didn't really get that because there is a quest system, but it's more so, hey, play 4 matches of arenas or kill people as this character, stuff like that. Because it is frustrating when you're trying to do one of those quests and it's like, okay, I drop and die. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck, I couldn't even get one death, like one kill. Like, what the fuck? So that's my thing. The next game on my list, I don't think you've played this because for a while it was only on the PC, but it's called Inscryption.
Definitely not.
Okay, it's on the PlayStation now. Well, it's on PlayStation, and yeah, I would say maybe go look into it. Hopefully, it'll come onto PlayStation Plus or something. It's a really good card game, but it has a story behind it. And as you play, the game changes, and it's very, I don't know, I really liked it a lot. I don't want to really spoil too much because it's not that long of a game, but I remember that ending really affected me. There was a lot of yelling at my TV and almost like tearing up and stuff like that. I was sad. It's a good game. I definitely recommend anyone, out of all the games I'm going to talk about, go check out Inscryption. I think it's a really great game. And I'm not sure if that came out last year or the year before, but I played it last year.
I thought of another game. So
Okay.
the game that I was gonna say for last, I guess I'll say because you have one more, right?
I technically got 2 more. Do you want me to do another one?
No, it's fine. It's just the game that I just thought of. Well, I didn't. I just went through like my trophies to see what I had played this year.
That's fair.
Kina, Bridge of Spirits. It's a PS5 game. Actually, it might have been PS4 as well. Well, it's a PlayStation game is the point. But it's the action adventure with the girl who like is a spirit guide and she has to like
Oh, and she has those like things following her.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's just like I don't know. I don't know if I have to play it again to give you more in depth about it, cuz to me it just came across as kind of like a basic action adventure, but something about it does stick with me. Like I don't know if it's the world or just maybe that you're basically like healing the world, and
Mm.
I feel like maybe in the middle of the pandemic like that was just a good feeling, is to like take this fucking fucked up shit and just make it what it once was, you know what I mean? Um, but it was fun and it was beautiful, like really good art style, kind of like an animated movie type of thing. But I just really liked that game. I don't remember who else played it, but maybe was it Orthel? I don't know, but we talked about it and I remember just really enjoying it. It was tough. And I don't know if it's another one of those situations where, oh, we're getting older, like games that we would have fucking destroyed when we were younger, you know, or if it's just like, is this just a tough game? Like, are the kids supposed to be able to play this? You know what I mean? But I remember really struggling with the bosses, but that was my favorite part. Like, you go through, you do your healing stuff, but then you have like, maybe you wouldn't have liked this, but there's like a difficulty spike, you know, where
Mm.
you have to defeat the boss, but you don't have. It's not like you're stuck. I mean, I guess sometimes you were, but it's like you could go do other things and then come back. And but the bosses weren't really about being stronger and grinding. It was about kind of like a Souls kind of way where it's about learning the pattern and learning
Okay.
the specific move you got to do. So it was, I really liked that game. But yeah,
If it's the game I'm thinking of, like, can you give the spirits like little hats to wear?
I believe so. I
Okay.
think so.
If it's the game I'm thinking of, the thing I remember someone saying was it feels like it's a PlayStation 2 game that they remastered on the PlayStation
Yes.
5.
I feel like that's accurate. I feel like that's accurate. I think it's more smooth. Like it's not as
Mhm.
wonky as that, but
Right.
I agree with that. Yeah. It feels like a throwback action adventure
Yeah.
game.
Okay, that's cool. Next game on my list, I guess, is Teardown, which is John, I believe you sent me like a gif of it on Twitter once because you knew it was a game I would like, but it's pretty much this game where it's all kind of voxel based and you can like destroy the environment using bombs and welding torch stuff like that to be able to like do heists kind of things. So it starts up with like you work for some kind of like deconstruction company and someone pays you to do a illegal job, and then it escalates from there where people are paying you to steal like documents from this like warehouse, stuff like that. And it's very fun because the environment reacts with how you destroy things, so you can accidentally start a fire which will cause an alarm to go off. Like, there are pipes that are supported by beams. So if you destroy the beams, the pipes will start to bend and they might break. So that can cause a way for you to get to like the roof because it'll break and make a ramp. And it's very interesting because you kind of, in a lot of the earlier missions, you kind of set up, it'll be like you have to disarm these security panels, right? And there'll be one on like the left side of the map and one in the right side of the map. So you can spend as much time making a route from A to B and then be able to leave. Because the second you deactivate one of them, a timer starts going down. So you have to deactivate the other one and leave the map. So it's a very fun game. I played it on my old video card, and that was even, like, playing it in the worst way fucking possible, I still enjoyed it a lot, and I still haven't beaten it. I should probably play it more. I guess if you wanna do yours, or would you like yours to be the last one?
Um well, I'm gonna mention another one since you told me you had two more. I'm
Oh,
gonna mention
okay.
another one. This isn't a game from last year. It's just a game I played last year, and I already mentioned that I put like a mind-numbing amount of time into it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh, okay.
It has all the problems that
Yeah.
people say about Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft, but for some reason, again, I don't know if this is just a thing like during the pandemic or whatever. it was like the perfect don't have to think, just do like kind of game for me. So
Yeah.
like I just went through every fucking mission, every collectible. Me and Michelle both. And how do you see the PlayStation wrap up thing? Because I'm sure I put a disgusting amount of time into that game.
I don't. I got
Wait, I
an
could see it in the app too,
email.
though, right?
I couldn't find it on the app actually. I got an email.
Well, regardless, I know I put hundreds of hours into that game, and it was a lot of shit to do. It was a lot of shit that most people wouldn't want to do, but again, I was able to just kind of just go in there, check out, play, and I really loved the gameplay. The gameplay is the best it ever was to me. Like just the fighting, the combat, if you want to do stealth, whatever, the climbing, and that's really become a thing that like bothers me in other games. You know how like since Breath of the Wild, you can climb anything, like that's become over thing. When games
Yeah.
don't do that, it pisses me off so much, which is actually my last game is that's part of it.
Oh,
One
okay.
thing I'll mention. But yeah, I still really like that game. Like if you like Assassin's Creed at all and you hate all that bullshit, don't do the bullshit. Just push through the
Yeah.
story, and it's still gonna be a long experience just pushing through the story. It's a long game, regardless of how you play it. Um, but it's good. It's not as good as Odyssey, but I still really liked Valhalla.
All right. I guess my last game is Digimon Survive. I love Digimon. Digimon's the best thing in the world. I'm wearing a Digimon shirt right now. And Digimon Survive is a visual novel tactics game. So as you're playing the game, you're making decisions. Those decisions more so affect like your relationship with the other characters in the game and how your Digimon, your Agumon, digivolves later on. It's very simple of a visual novel. I like the story though. The only thing I will say is like the decisions you make, especially your first playthrough, they don't matter too much. And but something I really enjoyed about it was it's 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 a dark Digimon game. Like it's a dark story. Like I don't maybe this is a spoiler or not, but people can die. Characters in that game can die. And it's I don't know. I want them to do another Digimon Survive game because I want them to take what they had and do more with it. Maybe do more where your decisions matter a bit more. Only thing I will say is I've only played through once and I found out some people the path is kind of laid out in a very specific way. Like certain story beats happen no matter what in your first playthrough, and it is until your second playthrough where you have to play the game again, where you can kind of change the story beats,
Mm.
and that kind of sucks. So I kind of wish that was the only that what that wasn't the case. Like I could just let it be my story the first time playing. But yeah, I really hope they make a second one. Um,
Do you know how successful it was sales wise? I mean, that'll
I,
be
d-
a big indicator.
I don't want. So here's the thing: I don't want to do that because I don't want to be sad. Um, and second of all, for a Digimon game, I don't know what success is for them.
Yeah, but you can look up, other ones that got multiple in a line of games or something. I don't know. I'll do it for you, and I'll just let you. I won't tell you
Okay.
the numbers. I'll just say this is getting a sequel one day, or this might not be getting a sequel one day.
Well, here's the
um,
thing. Right now, like Digimon has two lines of games. There's Digimon World, which is more of the like pet raising kind of game. And then there's Digimon Story, which is the one I sent to you guys, where it's more RPG, storyline kind of based thing.
and Survive is just
It's a new thing. It's a visual novel,
okay.
so I'm hoping maybe maybe it can get its own line too, because the tactics isn't like challenging or difficult. It could use some more systems to it. Uh, and like I said with the visual novel, it I kind of just wish they can take what they have now and evolve it even more. But yeah, that's Digimon Survive. Go buy it. Make me happy.
Okay, so my last game is God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, okay.
And there was like a certain level of disappointment that I had playing it at times, but it's still a good game. And I mean, obviously visually it's amazing. The gameplay is pretty much just more of what we got in the 2018 version, which was fucking great. Playing as Atreus, I don't know if I was just totally like not paying attention to like development news or trailers or whatever, but I had no idea I was gonna play as Atreus. So like that was awesome. That was probably my favorite part of the game from like a gameplay standpoint was when I got to play as Atreus, and it's a good amount. It's not like how like in The Last of Us there was like a level or something in the first
Yeah.
one, and then obviously in the sequel she's the main character and or half and half with. But anyways, in
I
this
never
one
played
it's
the sequel, so
you never played Last of Us 2?
no, I should.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should. I'm surprised. I don't know how I, like, forgot that or didn't know that.
When did that come out? Maybe that was during the time I was unemployed or moving or something.
It was right in the like, right after the pandemic started, I
Oh,
believe.
I might have just been depressed.
Well, it was a depressing time, and the game is very depressing, so maybe you made the right decision.
That's fair.
This game, not to get sidetracked, but Last of Us 2 is definitely, in my opinion, a harder game to play than the first one. And I'm not talking about, like, difficulty, I'm talking about with what you're talking about, like, in terms of, like, goriness and death, and then it's
Mm,
already, like, a more depressed, like,
right.
setting and time in the main characters' lives, and it's just rough. Um, but God of War Ragnarok, like I said, beautiful. Gameplay was great. Loved playing as Atreus. Didn't expect to play as him at all, let alone as much as I did. And then while the story left like things to be desired, I do want to see how, because I thought like I was gonna be like, this could be the end of God of War for me. But I do want to see what they do next. Like I just the way they switched into Norse mythology and like made it so different, but also still so clearly God of War was like really amazing to me. And I don't know if I want to see Kratos because that's the main thing. That's the main reason why I want to bring it up and give it a shout out, regardless of whatever shortcomings I thought it had. Kratos's arc is so good. Like in this game, I'm just so proud of him. I'm like, oh my god, like how did they turn him into what he was in the original trilogy, just
Yeah.
rage, right? Into like a person and then redemption finally after all this time. You know what I mean? Like it was just so good. It's so freaking good. That's all I gotta say about God of War.
All right. So that's all our video games. Those are the big ones for us, I guess. Congratulations. You all get game of the year. Congratulations.
Imagine like an award being given out, and the winner is everyone. Don't you love games? That would be great, actually.
Yeah. Jeff Keighley, take notes. This next category should be a quick one. Podcasts. I'm very big into podcasts. Listening to them. I got 2 on my list, and I I guess you said you had 2, or
I only had one, but I will
that's
do
fair.
a honorable mention for one. I'll go first
Okay.
because it's not as interesting. The honorable one is What's Right with Nick Wright. It's just like a sports podcast mainly,
Mm.
but he's a TV personality who I like. There's a lot of he's like a love him or hate him kind of guy because like he's someone who's like so very like my opinion, is like right. So if you don't agree, you're definitely not gonna like him.
Right.
But I like him a lot more in the podcast, which I feel like applies to anything where you have to talk at length. It's gonna be hurt when it has to go to TV and you have commercials and you're trying to fit it within certain time frames and there's other people that have to get, it's supposed to be like a back and forth type of thing. But in this, it's just him. Well, it's not just him actually. It's him and his son. And so first off, that's already an interesting dynamic, right? And they're funny and they're, it's he's a, it seems like he's a good dad. I don't know, it's just a podcast. Um, But when I want to like listen to sports related things randomly, because I don't watch as much as I used to,
Right.
I rather listen to that than like YouTube clips from like these talking heads on the TV shows or whatever. So I've enjoyed that, but I haven't like listened to it too much. But it's pretty good for if you're interested in sports.
You know what? I'm gonna count this one as an honorable mention as well because it kind of just started. There's 2 episodes, but the people involved in it, I've listened to them before. They both worked at Waypoint, which was Vice's video game vertical or whatever the fuck they call it. It was their video game website. Still is, actually. There are still some cool people who work there. Uh, but these 2 were there during the beginning times. I really enjoyed them on there. Then they left, and I didn't hear them as much. But they started a podcast called Death by Online. Um, it's a internet culture podcast, and the hosts are Natalie Watson and Danica Harold. I love their personalities. They are fun to listen to. The first episode literally came out as like Elon Musk was fucking up Twitter. So it was mostly discussing the timeline of all that. And the second one was just talking about their interactions with TikTok and me learning that TikTok is very different for different people.
Mm-hmm.
They started talking about some guy who married a mannequin and has a kid with the mannequin. It's a doll, apparently. I don't know. I was just like, what the fuck? That is left field from me listening to lesbians and transgender people and cat videos. Like, what the fuck?
The algorithm is very strong.
Yeah. Also, I might be a lesbian. I don't fucking know. Maybe TikTok's telling me something. I definitely want a cat, though. Do you want to go with your main mention?
Okay, so my favorite podcast, because it's basically the only podcast I listen to, is Bad Friends.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
I thought you were gonna say James and John try podcasting.
I don't count. I
okay.
mean, I'm in it. Like, I don't know. That feel like doesn't count. But
You listen to it, I hope.
no, I do. But I don't know. It's just more like it's not the same.
Business.
Yeah. But I just fucking love that podcast. It was recommended to me by my friend Gabe, because he knows I like Andrew Santino, who's one of the hosts. They're both comedians. The other one is Bobby Lee. They're just both so funny, totally different but hilarious, and their dynamic is hilarious. I'm sure they play it up a bit for the name, Bad Friends. So they probably
Right.
like, it's probably not exactly the way that they portray it on the podcast, but it's really fun to watch them. And I started from the beginning. Like, I didn't, I don't know how you listen to podcasts that are already established like that, but like someone was telling me like they'll listen to a new one and then they'll listen to it in reverse. And I was like, because that's how it'll play, like on a, you know what I mean? If you don't go to the beginning.
Oh,
But I was like, that's just weird to me. I want to see the evolution, if anything, right? So
right.
I went to the first episode and I'm still not caught up. I think I'm like 110 episodes in or something. And because for me, I mean, we've already established, like, you're a guy that's into podcasts. I'm not really. This is like the first time I'm like invested, where like, you learn so much about people's lives when it's just every
Yeah.
week they're, releasing content like that. And it's got like every emotion you could feel, you would feel if you get invested, because so much happens in their lives through the course of this podcast. And like, they brought in not a co-host. What is it like when you have like a person who's always there but they're not one of the hosts? You know what I mean?
Like they're paying attention to the levels and stuff, like a producer
No,
or
they have
something like
that
that.
too, but no, like someone who's like there to be a part of it, but they're not. It's not equal. It's maybe just like maybe it's a guest, but it's like constant, or like a constant guest. I don't know. It's just she's not a host. So what they did was Bobby Lee has essentially a niece daughter thing. Like it was his ex's, because they were together at the time.
Okay.
her niece, and they brought her over from the Philippines because she wanted to go to school here.
Okay.
So he ends up going like, "Hey, why don't you come on, the podcast?" And it was supposed to be just like, just be present, just something to do, just so you could see it, right? But she ended up becoming like a fan favorite.
Aw.
So they kept bringing her on, and she became a part of the show. And so she was there every episode. But I already spoiled one of the things is like him and her aunt end up breaking up, and then there's like the drama with that and the tension, and then she
Oh.
she is starting school, and her life is changing, so she can't be there for every episode, and just like all these little different things start changing, and then like different guests start coming in, and it's different and good. Like I'm still enjoying it, but it's just like when these things happen, I just didn't expect, again, because I've never really been into podcasts like you. It's like heartbreaking.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, like I can't believe that I'm not gonna hear this person again, or not on a weekly basis or whatever,
Right,
it was
right.
coming out. And it was tough. And then you see like that person's growth. So like when she came in, she was just like a shy, yeah, I think she was technically an adult, like 18, but like, a teen,
Oh, okay,
a
yeah, yeah.
young girl. And now the way she is now is just like night and day. It's just so funny because, she's been put on this platform, and they've really like done a lot to like boost, her confidence, and,
Right.
so it's just, that's been a really, really good podcast listen for me. And I love it. Like, I'm kind of scared to
Yeah.
like get current, because I don't know,
What
these
happens?
changes, a lot of these things that I'm telling you about are recent, so I don't know how it's gonna like impact, like the
Right.
longer term view of the podcast. But
I
still
mean,
going.
I try listening to like a podcast like the Giant Bombcast for a good couple years, and then when the host dies, like that it's weird to love someone that you never met. Oh man.
I guess the closest I had to that, and it's not a person dying or anything like that, but it was like, remember I used to be into like listening to like Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty and whatever,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then the split, like
Oh yeah.
that was just like, wow. To me, I thought they were like inseparable,
That's still a weird thing. I Whatever. Honestly, it sounds like there was a lot of things going on at the time. It wasn't just that Twitter joke or whatever.
No, that was just like the final straw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My last podcast, I really got into this one. I like listening to actual play podcasts, which are podcasts where people play tabletop RPGs. And I got on TikTok, I was just like, this is my favorite actual play podcast right now, which was pretending to be people. What are yours? And TikTok being TikTok, people actually commented a bunch. And the one that I kept seeing pop up was one called Dungeons and Daddies, which is a D&D actual play podcast, which I don't care for Dungeons and Dragons. It's not the game I want to play. And from listening to Dungeons and Dragon podcasts in the past, like from high school, I've gotten bored of them because they're relatively the same thing. Like you got silly characters. The second you get into battle, it takes forever. Um, it's it's just not fun for me. And then it goes on to for like 100 episodes, and yeah. But Dungeons and Daddies is more comedy focused in a lot of ways. Not only that, it's not like Dungeons and Dragons focused because season 1 is they're playing dads with their children. They're supposed to go to the soccer event, and they find their way into the Dungeons and Dragon world. And the kids get taken away, and the dads, being the main characters, have to go find them. And they're all broken in different ways that dads are broken. And it's they just do a good job of mixing the comedy with the game.
Well, they're all writers.
Yes, that is true. They are all writers. They're all they have done storytelling in different ways. And actually, the thing that I went into this going with knowing nothing about it, because again, people were just like talking about it in my comments section. So I'm like, oh, let me try it. I didn't realize the DM was Anthony Birch, which that was a shock. Like, he started talking. I'm like, I know this guy's voice, but I can't really put it. And then he says his name. I'm like, wow, that's a blast from the past. I thought he left the internet. So I was really
he did
shocked.
for a time, basically.
Well,
to
I
be
was
fair.
just a little shocked he was doing something this internet's like to an audience kind of thing,
Mhm.
because it really felt like he decided to just go into background stuff after the craziness that his life was for a little bit.
Well, he's always kind of worked with them, though. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm assuming they just were like, we should record. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're probably already doing something like that.
Well, well, they may have been playing D&D. I think they talk about it in one of the episodes, but it like comes up as a joke, like, oh, what if you were a dad in the D&D world? Oh, well, this kind of dad would be a rogue, and this dad would be a blah. And then, oh god, let me get his name really quick. Freddie Wong.
Mhm.
I think he's the one that was just like, yeah, let's do it. And Anthony Birch was like, what? I thought we were okay. And they were able to get people to come play, friends of theirs that they've worked with before. And it became a, thing where they're making money now. So good for them. And it's a really good show. I binged through all of season 1. I've actually just got caught up with season 2. It's a really good show. It made me cry while playing Pokemon one day. So there's one episode, I got sad. I legit broke down crying. It involved a dog. That's all I'll say. It's good. Definitely give that a listen to. Especially, I went in there going, hey, I don't like Dungeons and Dragons, but I really enjoy this. And you know what? A lot of times I will listen to these kinds of podcasts and be like, okay, the DM is okay at their job of like doing the story and stuff. Anthony Birch is really good at going with the like leaning to the silliness, but also bringing it back to like the story. But also he's really good at like creating mechanics. Like, they played like a game of Fortnite kind of in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, this is really kind of smart. I kind of want to take this system, probably not use it in Dungeons and Dragons, but use it in something else. So, yeah, that might be something I do in the future if I somehow get to play more tabletop RPGs instead of living through other people. I guess the last category is experiences.
We're not doing movies.
Oh, sure. I don't have anything. I don't I'll write movies here.
TV shows?
Nothing is coming to mind.
Do you want to put them together, just like visual
Sure.
media like that? Okay, well, so I'll maybe just one and one then, because I had a bunch, but I don't, because that's like the main thing that like I did for entertainment.
Well, why don't you can do one or two, and I'll just do one, because I'm trying to think of shit right now, because this is a hard thing to think about. The fuck
Okay.
did I watch?
All right, so I'm lying. I'm gonna do more, but so the way I'm gonna do this is TV show. I have a few, but I'm gonna narrow it down to two, and those two, the first one is the Afterparty. I think I mentioned it in a previous episode. I don't know if you watched it, but
I didn't.
it's on. Oh, because I don't know if you have the service. It's Apple TV.
Oh yeah, I don't have that.
Okay, so the Afterparty is a murder mystery, but it's hilarious. The cast is great. I didn't really know anything about it other than that. Like, I found out about it shortly before it came out, and then so I just kind of watched it blind, and I loved it. Do you know anything about the After? I mean, again, I mentioned it, but that was like a while ago.
No, not really.
Do you know who?
This is gonna be great.
No, you're terrible with names, right? So there's no point.
terrible with names, faces.
Well, the
all that
detective
fun
is
stuff.
Tiffany Haddish. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay. Anyways, murder mystery comedy, great cast. Check it out. The second one, I think it's one that you have to know. Hold on. Abbott Elementary. You don't know what Abbott
I
Elementary
don't
is?
think so.
Okay, you definitely have to watch Abbott Elementary. That's
What's
on
that
Hulu.
on?
Hulu. Do you have Hulu?
Yes.
No, you have to watch Abbott Elementary. It's another one of those like single camera, like The Office, Parks and Rec type of vibe. You know,
All right.
it's set in an underfunded elementary school. The cast is fucking unbelievable. I keep saying that, but like in the beginning, I still was really enjoying it, but in the beginning, it's a little bit too much like The Office, you know, like where you kind of feel like, oh, you know, I've kind of seen this before. But as it settles into like their characters and the school setting and those storylines start developing, it's really fucking great and it's really funny. You definitely need to watch it. So, do you have a show you watched before I say a movie?
Did Marvel What If come out that year?
That's a good question. I feel like it did. Let's see. I'm surprised you're picking that over Hawkeye. Because you talked to me more about that one than nope, it was 2021.
Which means, was Hawkeye 2021 as well?
Was it? Man, see, this is where I'm saying the pandemic years are just
It was 21 because it was that like
yep, it was
Christmas.
the end. It was the end, yeah, of the year.
Um
Holy moly.
uh
You have to have a show you watched in 2022.
So hold on, let me open Hulu. Where the fuck is Hulu? There we go.
You're like Boy Meets World.
Okay. I got really sick at the end of the year. Both with like a cold and like a stomach bug.
Mhm.
So I had a hard time just doing anything. But I watched oh, apparently I watched season 1 of Bob's Burger. I didn't even realize I watched all those. Okay. So I watched season 1 of Bob's Burger.
So you didn't watch a show from 2022?
Fever. No.
Really?
I don't think
On
so.
no platform.
What came out?
I just listed 2. but okay, so another show that I would part of my longer list was The Bear. Do you even know what that is?
No, what the fuck is that?
Okay, so The Bear, is this just gonna be me telling you shows to watch now? Okay. Okay, so The Bear is okay, so it follows a chef, right? He went to culinary school, worked in the best restaurant in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to work at his brother's restaurant with him, but he never let him. So it was kind of like he wanted to rise up to the top, like kind of like a prove himself type of thing. Then his brother dies, and his brother leaves him the restaurant. Now this restaurant is kind of like a rundown, barely getting by restaurant in Chicago. He was in New York in the best restaurant in the world. He makes it his mission, like he feels like he has to make this work. He needs to turn this restaurant around. He needs to make it successful. That's like the basic premise. Now, obviously, again, there's like a million characters and it's depressing because it starts with like the death of his brother. He has, you know, his own issues, his own anxieties, but it's also funny. So it's a drama, but it's funny too. Like they have that to like, you know, ease you through it a little bit more, but it's a great show. Like only the first season came out. I loved it. I want to see this. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have to throw everything out the window. No. I was going to like just list. No, there's a show that is my favorite show.
Okay.
I don't think the first season came out in 2022, but a season came out in 2022 and I caught up. I watched it from, you know, those first 2 seasons in 2022. Reservation Dogs. Please tell me you know what that is. Okay, no. Put that at the top of the list now of like shows you have to watch. Reservation Dogs is about these teenagers that live on a reservation. They're Native Americans. And
Okay.
first off, you're introduced to that world, right? And you get to, you know, meet that community and it's not I mean, I never really think about it, but it's not like what I thought, I guess. But it starts off depressing as well, as many things do nowadays, I guess, with the death of one of their friends. But it was his dream to go to California. So they make it their mission to save up money to make it to California. Really, the show is following them, like, trying to do that. So it is a drama as well, but it's also extremely funny. Like, they get into all kinds of shit, but it's funny. Do you know who Taika Waititi is?
Is that the guy from Thor?
He plays the rock guy in Thor.
Well, was he not the director?
He's the director, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You said from Thor. I don't know. Yeah, he directed Thor. And he also did What We Do in the Shadows. And
yeah,
point
that's
is,
the one.
He's hilarious. Yeah. He, I think, produced this. Holy mo! I think I just got another show. I got it. I'm sorry. They're both Taika. They're both Taika. Let me make sure it was 2022 that I watched it. Man, shows were so good in 2022 if it was, and you were just ignoring it all? That's blowing my mind.
I found a show.
Wait, before you tell me your show, this show, the first season, only season so far, it is coming out with a second season, was in 2022. It is up there with Reservation Dogs for my favorite show. I'm saying that about every show that I list now.
Apparently, yeah.
Our Flag Means Death. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's another Taika Waititi. I don't think he made it, but he's in it. He co-stars in it.
Is this the pirate movie?
It's a show. But
is it the pirate show?
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, then yes, I know a little bit about this.
All right, so it's a well-to-do guy who decides he wants to be a pirate. And that's not, how that's supposed to work, And he's really not, I mean, he's surviving, but like he's not cut out for it. You got to be tough. You got to be able to work hard. You got to be able to survive, right? And he's this rich guy. So that's funny in of itself. But then he meets Blackbeard, played by Taika Waititi. And I don't really want to say anymore. You might know if you know a little bit about it, but just watch it. It's hilarious. Such a good show. Taika Waititi's the man. Anyways.
Okay. Well, my show that everyone was waiting for. Season 3 of Harley Quinn.
Oh, yes.
First of all, that show is just good in general.
But that was the peak of it so far, though.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a great show. There's Peacemaker? Did you watch Peacemaker?
No, I didn't.
Okay, that's a great show on HBO Max as well. I'm noticing all the shows I like are both like depressing and hilarious.
Yeah.
Like dark
comedies. That sounds about right for you.
I mean, well, no, I do. I always knew I like dark comedies and stuff like that, but I didn't realize how much of it I consumed in 2022 specifically. Usually I have a more spread, like, this is a drama, this is a comedy, this is sci-fi, this is fan, you know what I mean? Nope, just all dark comedies in 2022.
Well, I mean, look at the past couple years. It's been a dark comedy.
That's fair. All right, well, so that's TV shows and Harley Quinn. That is I'm glad you brought it up because that, like, man, you were the one that told me to watch it.
Yeah, on
this podcast.
Well, I couldn't remember when season 3 came out, so I had to double check. It's 2022.
So for people who haven't watched it yet, it is so good. Not only are the characters they make you like care about all the characters. They're very well developed. It's still very DC, but it's in its own world where, it's a lot funnier. It's a lot more fun. Like they take a lot of, liberties. And when you first told me about it and or I was seeing things online, I thought it was like a parody, but it's not. It's not though. No, it's just a comedy. It's just a comedy set in that universe.
Yeah.
But it's really good. And the Joker. I'm sorry,
I
love the version of the Joker in that show.
As it moves on, yes.
Yeah.
First season Joker sucks.
Yeah. Well, first season Joker, he's the Joker.
He's the villain. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just the Joker, like as the Joker is pretty much. Yeah. They don't try to do anything to redeem him.
But it's also fun to watch. Yeah, his arc, Harley Quinn's arc, Poison Ivy, her kind of arc. Like, I'm very curious how the next season's gonna go with the dynamic they set up.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I have an old movie and I have a new movie.
Okay.
That's about all I got.
All right.
You know, I probably watched a bunch of movies, but you know.
Do you want to do one of them first?
Sure, yeah. The old movie, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Okay.
It's a really good horror movie. Just go fucking watch it. The special effects, like what they were able to do back then, and it all has to be practical effects because they didn't have that technology back then, and it's just fucking great. And I don't know, just go fucking watch it. It's a really good movie. And you know, it's kind of funny because that movie was not well received when it first came out. It's only as it aged that people realize, oh,
It
this is
changed.
amazing.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna stick to new movies unless something pops in my head.
That's fine.
I saw quite a bit. I'm just gonna try to like rattle off a few and not like spend too much time. Two that I'll mention together because it's a movie and the prequel to that movie is X and Pearl. They're both horror movies.
I watched X because you told me to.
Did you like it?
Yeah. I thought
Okay.
I sent you a text about it.
If you did, literally do not remember that. But I'm glad you liked it, but you need to watch Pearl now. They're both really good. You need to see them both, but like I prefer Pearl, I think. Like there's just something about cuz did I tell you like the influence, like the first one is like influenced by Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, you told me, and you can tell, even
Yeah,
as someone who has not seen that movie, you can
yeah.
tell.
So, but Pearl is influenced by The Wizard of Oz and like those first Technicolor films. And you will see that when you watch the movie as well. But that was interesting to me. Like when I heard that, I was like, what? Like what, how? You know, like how is it a horror movie and it's influenced by that? But when you watch it, you see it. And I just think that there was just I mean maybe it's Mia Goth, she's the main actress. She takes it to another level in Pearl. And I think that's what really not only like the visual and the info, but like Mia Goth really takes it to another level. And I just really loved that movie. I'm kind of like worried that they're making a third one because I feel like this is just like a perfect 1-2 punch. I'm like, can the third one really live up? You know, but we'll see. But I'm really happy with those two movies. They were really, really good.
Do you want me to read the text I sent you?
Go ahead.
You can let me know if it's too much of a spoiler and need to cut it out. I watched X tonight as well as Host and Prey. It was very fun movie.
Prey is so good. Holy shit.
Yes. I enjoyed it and agree with the main subtext that old couples should have more sex.
I do remember, even though that wasn't the subtext, but I do remember that.
I was making a joke. Come
on. Oh man, but now you mentioned Prey. Now you mentioned Prey, so I gotta take.
Prey didn't come out this year, did it?
Oh, it didn't. 2022.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. Prey.
Oh, hey!
Yeah. You have one. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to just talk about it?
I really enjoyed it.
Did you see the Predator movies?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so you had.
I watched 1 and 2.
Okay.
Because the Next Lander, they did a watch cast of both of those, so I watched those. I have to find a way to watch Blade because they did a watch cast on that.
Oh, I think you mentioned that to me that they did that, but I also mentioned you should watch Predators with an S. Yeah, you would have watched it before Prey because I think Prey is the best one. So like, yeah.
To be fair, Predator 2 has a connection with Prey though.
No, yeah, the first two are the only one. There is something from Predators that's in Prey, but it's really like it really feels like its own side thing. But it's just that's the other good movie in the franchise, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know? But like I said, Prey is, in my opinion, the best one. So I don't know, but like I just really loved that setting for the movie, and like I was like, okay, so why didn't they do this before? I'm not saying that exact movie, but like, why aren't we just going to a different place, a different time, putting a predator there, and just that's the movie? It seems so simple. You know what I mean? And it works.
I mean, technically, that's what happened with 1 and 2.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like just do that. Like, why did they try to get cute
Oh,
in the
yeah,
in betweens?
yeah.
Like, it's been so long from Predator 2 to Prey. You know what I mean? Like, what year was Predator 2? Oh, you don't know.
You act like I care about these things. Predator 2 is 1990.
All right, so that was 32 years before they could get it right again.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, I guess Predators, like I said, I think it's underrated. I liked it, but still. Um. All right, and then did you see the menu? Do you know what the menu is? I don't even know if I could talk about it without spoiling it.
No, I remember people talking about this on Twitter. I haven't seen it. Oh, it's on HBO. I'll add it.
Yes, watch
It's
it.
horror, right?
Yeah, it's not scary though. Is it? Is it more a thriller? Maybe it's more of a thriller.
Okay.
I'm just trying to give like the basic premise. A group of people go to an exclusive restaurant where everything's supposed to be catered to them, and things don't go the way they think. And we'll just leave it at that. But it is very good. I think it's pretty funny. I don't know if I'm a lunatic, but I think I was laughing in the theater and it was pretty quiet. But I loved it.
Oh my god.
And there's some good social commentary in there too. What about Glass Onion? Did you see that?
I'm hopefully gonna watch that not to yes, I guess tonight, Friday night.
Okay, did you see Knives Out?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so this is a sequel to Knives Out in a way. Like, really, the detective's the only thing that carries over, but it's
Right,
like,
right.
in that same universe. I thought, much like the first one, the cast was amazing. It was very funny. I had fun following. It's not as much of a mystery in a way, but it was still fun to see the steps.
Right.
And Janelle Monáe is unbelievable in this movie. Like, she's just unbelievable, but like obviously, but like I'm like she's the real deal as an actress too, because obviously she's mainly known for singing, but she can win an Academy Award one day if she wants. That's how I feel about it. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
I have not seen it.
Okay, that was like the first movie that I remember seeing this year, and I think I keep going back and forth. I think it's my favorite movie of the year.
Okay.
It's just so fucking crazy. Like they just do whatever they want in this movie, and it's so fun. And then it still has like this dramatic core, with this woman who feels stuck in her life, and then she has to be pushed to go on this crazy journey, and then she has to realize like it's like realizing your own power, how to take control of your own situation, how you've been holding people back, how you've been affecting other people, just like all this stuff. And then the action is fucking awesome in it. Michelle Yeoh's just a beast in it. I really, really enjoyed that movie. And like when I first watched it, it was like I watched it in theaters, and I was like, it was almost a shock. Like they really made this. Like they really just did everything they wanted to do in this movie. So I'm glad that not only was it successful, but it's like getting award nominations. Michelle Yeoh has won multiple awards. She just won a Golden Globe for Best Actress. So that's a really good one. And then I'm just gonna pick two more. And then, do you have a last one?
Yes.
Okay, so you can go last because these are just two together, and I already just gave
Okay.
that thing. It's just that this was my favorite one. I already gave like that whole thing, but there was two big movies this year, and as someone who loves to go to the movies, I was like, this is the movies. You know what I mean? Like, this is why you have to go to the movies. This is why we could get rid of the cinema, but this is why we shouldn't get rid of the cinema. You're not going to get this experience at home. You're just not. The first one came out earlier in the year. That was Top Gun. And I'm
Okay.
not even like a fan of like Top Gun like that, but Tom Cruise has mastered making the blockbuster over all this time, and he just made such an accessible movie, such a movie that anyone can enjoy, and it was big, and the stunts were incredible, and he filmed it with an IMAX camera, and I saw it in IMAX, so that was just like visually just like insane, just an exhilarating movie. Can't feel that anywhere outside of a movie theater. The last one just came out, and it's Avatar, and you remember how I was when I saw the first Avatar, and I had to get
Yeah.
everyone to go watch it, and unfortunately, you didn't get the right experience because they fucked up. See, now that I've worked at a movie theater, I know what was wrong. Remember, I
Oh.
told you back then, there's something wrong with the 3D. It's not
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
be
yeah.
like this. Now that I've worked at a movie theater, it's there's this thing called polarizers that have to go over the lens when you're showing a 3D film.
Ah.
So they had the polarizers open, so because they had a 2D showing of something before, and they never closed it. So yeah, we got
It
like a
still
half.
looked
It looked
good.
great. It looked good, but it didn't. What I was trying to tell you, you never got to experience. So that's
Mm,
still like a frustration. I want you to see Avatar 2 in 3D just so you can finally see what I've been trying to tell you. And, obviously you have to wait because I know you don't want to be in there with these like packed crowds because it's about to cross $2 billion, so it's making money. People are
jeez.
showing up, yeah. But they did it again. I was saying I don't know if I prefer it over the original. I still don't know. There's things I do prefer. Like there's a lot, I like the characters more. There's a bigger cast of characters with the Navi that I just find them more interesting. There's like the family unit is more interesting to me in this than just like the ragtag group from the first one or whatever. But the visuals are on a whole nother level again. Like when with the first Avatar, I feel that before Avatar 2, we had not matched Avatar 1 still from a visual
Mm,
effects standpoint. All these Marvel movies making $1 billion, $2 billion, and they don't put the money back into the movie to make it look like that, which I never understood. I'm like, why aren't these the best looking movies every year? But with Avatar 2, they wanted to top Avatar 1. The effects, the 3D is even better. So with the first one, again, you didn't. I don't know really what that experience was like for you. I know you enjoyed it, but like since I know what it was supposed to look like, it's like I know how smooth it was and
right.
how it sometimes I forgot that I was wearing 3D glasses. That's how good it was. But with this one, it's like on a whole nother level. There was times where I had to go like this, like take the glasses off to make sure I was seeing it. It was like so smooth that I'm like, is this even 3D? But then you go like that and it's a whole blurry ass screen, and then you put it
Right.
back on and you're just like, this is just too clean. It looks too good. Like, how did they do this? They experimented with some technology. I'm not gonna get like super into it, but like they did like some high frame rate stuff, which I also want you to see because I want to know how you feel about that. Like, so you're someone who's been playing video games your whole
Mm,
life. I've noticed some people that I've talked to that are used to 60 frames or higher
right.
didn't even notice. Like they were just like, "Oh, it was just beautiful. It just looked great." For me, those scenes were very smooth, but it was almost like unsettling cuz to me that's not what
Mm,
movies look like. That's what a
right.
video game looks like. You know what I mean? So like to me a movie is 24 frames per second and that
Right, right, right.
there's like a magical flickering to it. It's like a trance that it tries to put you in because it's not as smooth as a video game. You know what I mean? It's more
Right.
just like a constant. But in those scenes, it made me go, "This is impressive," but it also keeps making me aware that it's happening. But other people didn't feel that, so I want to see how you feel about that. I know why they did it. It's because sorry, I just hit my mic really hard. They did it because it was like action sequences and stuff, and they were trying to have tighter shots than they had in the first one. So it would have been like headache inducing with the 3D effect at 24 frames per second. So this was a part of the smoothing of
Mm,
it to make you really not even notice, that you're really watching a 3D movie other than that it looks, real and incredible.
right.
But yeah, Top Gun was the highest grossing movie until Avatar 2, which is now about to cross 2 billion again. Like James Cameron is goated.
Well, my movie pick is also amazing.
This is also part of the reason why I wanted you to go after I just made these huge like
um, it's called Deadstream. It's on Shudder. It's a horror comedy.
It's even worse than I expected.
It's good. Like it's a fun like it's this guy who
I know, but like does anybody know about this movie besides you?
I learned about it from Twitter, but
Oh,
it's a
okay.
bunch of like horror people I follow,
Okay.
But kind of think like a PewDiePie kind of character. He
That's already horrific. Yeah.
Yeah, like, well, he kind of gets canceled.
Good.
Apparently he like paid like a homeless man, and the homeless man to do like some kind of prank thing,
Yeah.
and the homeless man ends up in the hospital. So he's now coming back. He's saying he's apologized, he's donated this, that. I'm coming back, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do a haunted house. I found this house that here's the backstory of it. And I'm gonna actually lock myself in. And he locks the door, and he makes a thing of where throwing the key in a vent and stuff. And he is like, ooh, oh, look at the spooky, and then shit actually starts happening. But yeah, so it's kind of like this asshole where it's like, yeah, fuck you. You're not a real person.
Yeah, it
B-
actually sounds interesting.
yeah, it's definitely a interesting take on social media influencer, those type of people, kind of them and dealing with the real world and stuff like that. It was fun. And it's funny, I would definitely say it's more of a comedy than a horror because that's such a hard thing to balance.
Mhm.
But it was fun at least. And yeah, that's on Shutter. I don't know if you can, rent it otherwise. I would assume so. And it came out in 2022, so fuck y'all. So those are the movies and TV shows that we definitely planned and was not last minute. You can tell like I'm in a different space than you are. But that's good. That's what
You
makes us people.
I mean, it's true, but usually you have something. Like, we've talked about TV shows and movies plenty times.
I think the thing is like I don't care when they like come out.
Mhm.
Like with Hawkeye and Marvel What If, I was really in the Marvel kind of mindset around that time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh, these are coming out. I want to watch them." But 2022, I had a hard time just sitting down and watching shit. And then when I was watching shit, it was like, I watched Bob's Burgers. I did that thing where I watched a lot of Let's Plays and stuff on YouTube and things like that. That was my comfort, watching shit. I didn't want to consume. I didn't want, I didn't want to digest something. I just wanted to consume. But maybe that's something I'll think about for this year. So our last category? I don't know.
Yeah.
Experiences we've had. I have 3 things on here. I'm just gonna throw this out because I don't know if we're gonna talk about it too much, but the quote unquote death of Twitter.
Mm.
That was a surreal experience for these past couple months because honestly, when it happened, I forgot about that whole Elon Musk uh offer to buy Twitter at a extraordinary price,
Yeah.
tried to back out, but he signed a thing that said he wasn't allowed to back out,
Yeah.
which Elon Musk,
I think they
for
said
all those
he's the
people.
first person to lose $200 billion.
Yeah, for people who like were really in love with the guy, like thinking he was like the next tech messiah or whatever,
Yeah.
even though like for the past like couple of years we've been saying, things here and there showing that no, he's a man,
Yeah. He's kind of an idiot.
kind of an idiot and also kind of a asshole.
Yeah.
Probably actually big asshole in general. But yeah, Twitter dying. Not really, I guess. But, I signed up for 2 different social media
Did you hear?
accounts.
I'm sorry, it's still on subject because we're talking about Elon Musk, but
Yeah,
did
yeah.
you hear about what happened with the Teslas in California?
I heard about the stock prices dropping, but
No, the cars. Like, so you know how he's been working towards like auto driving or whatever,
yeah,
automated
yeah.
driving. So like they turned it on in California, and immediately like car accidents. Yeah, like there was a car. They were driving on the highway, and they jumped in front of a car, slammed the brakes, 8-car pileup, but they didn't do it. It was the car. The car just did it itself.
Man, like there's a bit of me that would love us to be at that point
Yeah, but we're
where
not.
yeah.
Yeah, we got to get there, but I just he's always saying like he can do whenever he announced something, he's like, and it's gonna be here next year. It's like, no, this shit takes time. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And he said that like 10 years ago, by the way.
But
Y-
yeah, I don't know if there's much more to talk about. I will say I've been enjoying my time on Cohost, just like looking into tabletop games and people talking about that and stuff like that. Uh, I probably should do more on there. How's been your time on Mastodon? Because I know you went there. I didn't.
yeah, I like it mainly because I just feel like I like all the people that I not only follow, obviously, but like even the things that pop up.
Hmm.
It's just been an enjoyable experience. Like I feel like it's the thing is it'll change if it gets bigger, like anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just right now it feels like early Twitter where it was like, oh, this small, cool little community, but then that'll change when it gets bigger.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's not like I'm on it like the way I was on Twitter, but at the same time, that's by design. A big part of Mastodon is like we're not going to use algorithms to
Yeah.
lure you in all the time to keep you constantly having to scroll. So
That's
that's
kind of the
nice.
same with co-host.
Right, so that's nice. Um but I'm also still on Twitter. Like
Yeah.
if it dies and Mastodon doesn't take off, I don't know if I'm really going to keep searching though. That's the thing. Like I feel like what I've enjoyed about Mastodon is that I'm like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't have to be like Twitter. It doesn't have to be all consuming." But then I'm remembering I don't need this at all. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of like when I didn't have my that was excessive, but it was kind of like when I didn't have my phone for a while
Oh,
where I was like, "Oh, like yeah, people used to be like this. Like we didn't have to constantly be connected?"
as someone trying to do a podcast, I need technology.
Yeah, but you don't need a phone. I mean, not like that. Not to be, like I don't know.
How am I gonna play Marvel Snap?
I mean, you could play it on a phone. I'm not saying you don't need a phone at all. I'm just saying the way we use technology is we've gone a little far. As just
Well, yes.
as people, we've gone a little far. I
Well,
mean, the pandemic didn't help. I feel like maybe I was a little bit better because the thing is, before I didn't need to catch up on Twitter. I would just, oh, I'm on it. What's happening now?
yeah.
But I feel like during the pandemic, I really started doing the scrolling thing, like, let me
Oh,
see
yeah.
everything.
I
Um,
didn't really do that because it's just depressing. Um, but also like a lot of the like for me, a lot of the people I follow, like yes, they have like political views and stuff, but honestly, pretty much everyone I follow is like left leaning, and that's kind of where I'm at. So it's not like I got a lot of random, like if anyone was like promoting right wing shit, I would just unfollow them,
mhm.
even if I like their content. It's just like, nope, we can't deal with this. Bye bye. And right now, like you know, I don't follow like 1,000 people like some people do. It's probably higher than I'm thinking it is, but it's still, you know, there are times, it's not like when I go on Twitter, I'll get a couple messages and then go away and then come back 10 minutes later. A lot of times, 10 minutes later, it's still at where I left it. I don't know what your Twitter is like.
No, I mean, it's like, it fills up quick, but it's more just like I don't check it every,
Yeah.
10 minutes. I check it, hours apart. But like I said, I feel the need to
Yeah.
scroll through everything that happened in those hours. And that's just a problem. Again, but that's kind of changing. That was more, before
Yeah.
I didn't have my phone and before this whole thing happened where then I was on Mastodon for a while. And I'm on both, but I just don't consume that media the same way.
So yeah, that was Death of Twitter. You have a experience you want to throw in? I got two more after this.
The World Cup.
Oh, okay. Soccer?
Yeah, it's not the
Okay.
first time I've watched the World Cup, but this is the first time I was like taken away with it. Like I got into it and I, watched most of the games that I could watch and was like super invested come time the final because I was rooting for. Do you know who Messi is? Well, he's like the GOAT now. I mean, he was already considered like the best or one of the best players of all time, but he had never won a World Cup.
Uh,
And he's 30. I don't remember
30
how
is
old he is.
already kind of old for
No, he is.
soccer,
And
if
he's
I'm
and he and yeah,
remembering.
and he's past like I don't know if it's like 36 or 37 or something like that. Yeah, he's old
Mm.
for soccer. But he's still really good. But again, he hadn't won it in the past, so it's easy to think, well, he's not necessarily going to be able to win it this time at an even older age. But the team was pretty good. Their national team going into it, and he took it to another level. And yeah, he got it done. So I was like super invested. But also, the final itself was very exciting. Which, if you're not a soccer fan, it's hard to see what's exciting about soccer because there's so much of no scoring, so much of nothing happening. But like this game was like tense. Michelle doesn't watch soccer. She watched it, and even she was like, "Holy shit, this is crazy," because especially towards the end of the match, like it started becoming like a barrage of scoring, and it was just like, "Holy shit, this is crazy." The things they had to do. Um, there was Messi for Argentina and Mbappe for France, and he was like really going on. He had a hat trick. That means he scored 3 times. Think about how
Oh,
few scoring there is in soccer,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then he
yeah.
scored 3 times. But it was just insane, and I was just happy that this was the one that I decided to actually pay attention to because it like paid off in the end, like in a way where I could be satisfied. But also like watching some of those games with Michelle, like she's not really into sports, but like she was into it. I was talking to people at work about it. It was like like I said, the most into the World Cup I was, and so it was a whole experience that was more than just the game. It was like
Right.
constant for those weeks. But yeah.
I guess my next experience, I decided to try this program out called Merit America. They have a couple different programs where you try to get certificates to get a better job in like technology and all that stuff. I did their IT support career because I think that was the like quickest one. Just to see if I can get out of my current job because I was really pissed off at my job in the middle of the year there. So I did this program. It's like 3 months to get the certificate, then 3 months to find a job. And it was a very interesting experience of just doing this thing, and I still don't know how I feel. Like I'm kind of glad I did it. I got to meet people, I talked to people, people with different experiences and stuff. I remember talking to some guy who talked about he was trying to do a like a D&D podcast. Uh, but he kept talking about it like as a dramatization kind of thing, and also talking about how he was editing it to like the milliseconds for all this stuff. I was just like, I don't do that. I'll cut out silence, but it's more like a feel, how much silence there should be in between words and stuff. And then he was talking about like hiring, like calling them like actors and stuff. I don't know. It was weird. Very nice guy though. And then like we got put into like smaller groups, and my group made a Discord channel which I joined. I made like a Jack Jackbox party one day. I was able to get a couple of us to do that, and that was fun. And yeah, it was an interesting experience, but I don't know if I'll be able to get a job because first of all, tech jobs have kind of people been fired. So now there's a lot of tech people, even though I'm trying to get into an entry position. These people who might be desperate for jobs, who might have been making a bunch of money, might just be like, "Fuck it, I'll take a tech support job for right now, or do 2 tech support jobs while I'm trying to get a job in this." And because in that field, it's very much you putting out resumes, you're networking, you're doing all this stuff. For someone coming into it, it is just a lot. And it's very demoralizing to put in, 50 applications, and at most you get back is a rejection letter if you're lucky. Some people just don't fucking ever talk to you again or communicate back to you ever again. And that sucks. And also, talking about social media, being on LinkedIn, that place fucking sucks. Like in general, like I couldn't really put my like I couldn't really formulate why it sucked for a while, but I bumped into this TikTok where it was in the meme, so but I'm just gonna break down what it was. Uh you have to be so positive on LinkedIn. There is no it seems like there's an unspoken rule where you can't be negative. It always has to be, even if you're struggling, you always have to like end it with like, but I'm not quitting. I'm gonna put in 10 more applications today. I'm gonna blah blah blah. I'm like, fuck off,
What?
just
Wait, why?
vent.
Well, so then why don't you just do that?
Vent?
Yeah,
Maybe I will when I'm
you'll
fucking
be the
done with
one.
it.
You'll change LinkedIn.
I I won't, and here's the thing, like, I don't know if this is just me being a negative person who likes to vent, who, well, I vent. I speak about my feelings, good or bad. I'll joke, I'll, whatever. But I'm being negative. And maybe that's not how people are. Maybe I'm in a minority and other people are positive beings of,
No, that's not even
hey,
close to true.
I hope so. I hope that's true, because fucking A, these people that are just like, I'll
No, it's
keep
because
clapping for you,
yeah.
and one day it'll be my turn. It's like, fuck off. It may never be your turn, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all just bullshit and networking stuff. It's not like a real social
Yeah.
media. But I shouldn't say that's not everyone though. I've seen it just depends like who, you're interacting with and what you're trying to accomplish on LinkedIn, right? So like if you're trying to get a
Yeah.
job, you don't want to have someone read one of your posts on LinkedIn and go, I don't
Yeah,
know if this is the
exactly.
person I want, But there's some people who don't care about that. Like I feel like I've definitely seen my mom in the past post things that are kind of like, you know, kind of like subtweets to her bosses. But she already has the job, like,
Yeah.
and she also just kind of doesn't care. I don't know how much she like gets on LinkedIn like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely a performance going on by a lot of people. And even
Yeah.
people I know are different people on LinkedIn. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Which I get to a point, but it's just like, it makes me not want to ever like interact with it ever. Like right now, like mostly I'm following people that I was in the program with. So when they do get a job here and there, I'll be like, oh, good job, blah blah blah. I think my biggest hurdle about getting a new job is I don't want to make less. And I make very close to 50,000 a year at my job. And that's working 4 days, 10-hour shifts. The biggest mind fuck is I'm overnight and working with people with mental disabilities, right? And it's good I'm making that money. I should be making that money. When I first
Probably be
started, I
making
was
more,
making
but to be
I,
honest.
well, here's the thing. Like when I first started, it was $13 an
But
hour.
that doesn't mean anything to me. Like you're really underpaid then too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
inflation has happened, and I don't know.
Literally, a friend of mine who, same company I work with, sent me a TikTok going like, "Oh, if fucking McDonald's is paying 22 an hour, uh, a certified nurse assistants or what CNAs, whatever the fuck that stands for, which is pretty much what I do, but not because I don't have the certification. Should be making $42 an hour," and I'm like, yeah, but also the people at McDonald's should be making $22 an hour. Like, in the end of the day, I never understood like, oh, well, that's for a teenager to do. So a
Yeah, that's
teenager shouldn't
stupid.
make money?
Yeah, you that's the weird thing. No, you're right. Not only that, but it's like we put in these laws to like to like not have child labor issues, but you're pretty much saying that that's what you want to go back to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's so weird.
And not only
But
that,
also
it's like,
adults work those jobs, like people
yeah,
who have to pay
exactly.
bills
That's
and
the,
shit.
yeah. And it's just like, if you have a full-time job, you are giving 40 hours to the community, our community of shit. You should be able to make a fucking living. Like right now,
Yeah.
I have to live at home, even though I'm making, I can't afford rent by myself. I don't really have friends to even discuss, living together. Like the only friend I have is you, and well, you have a girlfriend and also live 15 states away from me. I don't know geography that well, so I'm gonna say it's probably more like 8.
I
We'll
don't know.
look at
I
a
have to
map
look at a
later.
map, yeah.
Uh, but I think that's the end of my favorite America. I will say it's a good program. It taught me a lot about like resume writing, cover letter, like what a fucking cover letter was. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I still barely do them because it's way too many if you're doing, a bunch at a
Yeah.
time. Even like I have one that they gave me where you kind of just put in stuff, but that still takes time
Yeah.
because you have to do research to be like, oh, what is this company about? I don't give a shit. Give me money. Like I applied to places I really shouldn't have applied to. Just like as a morally centered kind of way.
Mm.
Like banks and shit. A company that wants is doing like podcast and video editing
Yeah.
through AI.
Sorry, just because you said that, I had a friend who he's a communist, right? In like his ideology, yeah, and he applied. He's an artist as well, and he applied for a conservative, like, publication.
Man, well, you gotta make your money. That's the
Yeah,
annoying thing.
but it's just hilarious to me because like he's as left as you can go, you know.
Right.
But I guess in his mind, he's like, all of these jobs are immoral to me. So what's the difference between that one? You know?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I don't know if I'll get another job. And actually I don't know if I want to get another job at this point because again, making decent money, well, not decent, but whatever. It's kind of hard to find better. Well, you tell me for a non-management position. That's not bad, right?
Yeah, right now. But have you talked to Arthel at all? Like you can't get like a tech support type of job
I
at his.
His company is not hiring for tech support right now.
Yeah, because
And he
that would
also
definitely be a
said,
better job.
I mean, yeah, like again, but here's the thing, like I'm looking more for the like 45 to 50,000, $55,000 range. And it seems like a lot of places, they're saying it's tech support, but really it's customer support.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
and they're charging like $16 an hour. And when I
At
see
his
that,
job?
I fucking, no, no, no. I'm
Oh,
just
because
talking
when
about what I'm
I
saying.
interviewed once when I was trying to get a job, and they were starting at 25, and that was like over a year
That would be
ago.
great.
Yeah.
That would be
And
great.
that was over a year ago. And I had no, I mean, I know I could do the job, but I'm saying I didn't go through a program where I can say, look, I
Right,
know how to
right.
do this, you know?
Yeah, look, I have a certificate from Google.
Exactly.
And there's just a bit of me that, like, right now, I'm like, maybe I should focus on, I want to do the podcast. Like, maybe we should work on making this profitable. Or hell, just $1 a day can save a life. But, I talked to you about this. Like, maybe it would be nice if by the end of the year I can go from working 40 hours to 30 hours, cut one of my days off and work 3 days instead of 4 days. But I also would have to double check what that would do with my benefits.
Do you have another experience?
I got one more.
All right, so then I'll just do mine that I just thought of and I've mentioned before. Surfing.
Oh
You
yes.
know, that was a really. I wish I did it more. It was tough because scheduling it with Nate, Gabe, Garrett, it was just we didn't go that often, but every time we went, it was a good time. And not only just hanging out with them, but like just the actual learning a new thing, and then it was out in the ocean, and it was good weather, and it was just a really good experience. Like I didn't think about
Hmm.
anything else other than that, so it kind of maybe it's something I need to look into doing just myself in general, because it was good or
Yeah.
something like that. I just need something another
A
hobby.
hobby.
Yeah.
One that gets you out of the house.
Right, that's the thing. Get another hobby and one that gets me out of the house because it can get crazy if you're just always inside. Like, I guess I felt like I was already inside a lot before the pandemic, and then it just was that much worse,
Yeah. I
since
mean, look at me. I've never been outside.
no one thinks you're normal though.
I know. I know. I fracked years ago.
But yeah,
I
that's my last one. What were you gonna say?
actually like I kind of like again. I felt like before the pandemic, I was doing really good personally. Like I felt like I would go to the movies like well I would set like once a month, but I would go like maybe twice a month or something like that. Every other week, I was getting out a little bit more, even though it was a movie theater. But at least I was leaving the house. Um, which, if you don't know me, I was someone who, when I was unemployed, I literally was in my house for like a month. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast, but I think I spoke to you about this. There was a time where I'm pretty sure I didn't speak words for a month.
Yeah, you did. You did say this too.
Yeah, I like and I like we were reconnecting, like playing video games again. Like for a while, like we just, we fell off, whatever, it happens. And like I remember talking to you and being like, this is strange. What I'm doing right now is really fucking strange. And I feel like I'm not doing it right. Like, you'll hear me stumble here and there, but I felt like I was stumbling every fucking word back then to the point I had to say something to you. But yeah, like that, I can become a hermit really easily. It and it kind of comes from a sense of I for me to like leave and do something. You know how some people can go to the mall and window shop?
Yeah, I hate that,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, that's bullshit. What? No, you need to go to buy something.
Yeah.
Like I only went to the mall when I had to go to the GameStop to buy something.
Yeah, I don't really like window shopping. I don't get it.
But you know what? That's great for people that can because they can get out of the house and maybe they do buy a little something, or whatever. But for me, it's just like I need a purpose to get out of the house. Otherwise, what's the fucking point? Go outside?
Touch grass,
Uh, dogs piss on that.
lay in the piss, I guess.
Yeah, so yeah, it's good. Yeah, I agree. You should get a hobby. I should get a hobby. It's not gonna happen for me, but good luck. I'm legitimately trying to think. Like something I wanted to do was my library had like a board game thing, but it was for like 20 somethings. And now I'm out of that, I'm 31. They're gonna know.
You show up, everyone just goes, ew.
Exactly. Well, also, it's just like, well, this should be a space for 20 somethings to be able to meet people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I guess when you're 30, you're supposed to have people. I don't. I have you. And that's sad. You also think it's sad.
A little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, my last experience. I'm assuming you're done, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Podcasting. James and John, try podcasting. This has been a really fun experience for me. It's been nice to have something to hold on to do to push, a creative pursuit, to push you to do something with me. I Even though there were times where I felt like I was just bothering you, I was able to push past that because you're stupid and agreed to do this with me. uh, but yeah, this has been fun. We haven't missed a deadline yet, knock on wood. And next month will be our 1-year anniversary where we'll be talking about some stuff, which should be fun. And we did a lot more than I thought we would do because we did
This is what
YouTube videos.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because this is the 12th episode, and we said at least we were gonna
Yeah,
get through,
a
12
year.
episodes. Yeah.
But we did the YouTube stuff, we did the behind the scenes stuff. A lot of that kind of stuff went away due to you got promoted. I did that Merit America thing, and yeah. I think we'll talk more about that next month in episode 13.
What?
And
Why'd you make that face?
I just realized 13 is technically an unlucky number.
Don't name it episode 13. It'll be like a bonus, like the first episode, like just an episode that is something else.
Episode 12.5. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll discuss that when we get there. It doesn't matter. It's all fake. The number 4 is an unlucky number in Asian culture, and let's see what episode 4 of our podcast was. Episode 4 was we don't want to die. That was episode 4.
Well, now we're definitely are going to, but you said it was an unlucky
Well,
number.
yes.
I mean, from some means other than old age.
But yeah, this has been a fun project. I really appreciate what we've been able to do, what I was able to learn, what I was able to make you do. I'm hoping you have more to add to this as well.
Not really.
You motherfucker.
I mean, because nothing's changed in the sense the reason why, for me, when we were starting it, I was like, oh, I think it's like a good way for us to like have to actually like interact because we would go so long before without and that's something I want to talk about in the next one is that it didn't become balanced though. Like it became like it's just this. So we'll get into it, but like it still accomplished that goal. You know what I mean? Like we still have had to do this, and it was like you said, I didn't realize like things that changed, like being promoted or whatever, like why I hit kind of like a breaking point where I couldn't do as much, but it definitely was more fun for me earlier when we were able to do like that additional stuff. Like, well, first off, when the podcast was more planned, I just had more fun recording it, and then being able to do like the game stuff or the behind the scene, like when we were, it was just more enjoyable, but it was also newer. Um, but I'm glad that we made it to this point, and then we'll see what happens when we
Yeah. I mean, I guess you and me will have to talk about it, but just to give people who might be trying to read into shit, we're not looking to end it quite yet. John's giving me a look. Maybe I should redact that sentence.
Well, we're gonna talk about it.
I guess we'll find out. I thought we got another year going. Okay.
Let's see.
Oh my god, I hate you. Just to end this, I kind of just wanted to talk about the things I'm hoping to accomplish for this year. John, are you gonna partake in this part?
Should it be a part of the next one? Since we're talking about our plans for the podcast, it could also.
I want that one to be. I have other plans other than the podcast, but I'm just talking in general. Like
I know, but it still fits. I feel like, but if it's just gonna be, because then it's like that could just be so short. And I know that it's not like a full episode, but like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm just kind of like I feel like we've had this conversation throughout where it's like it's just been like a lost time. Like it's like my life was on a certain track, and then the pandemic happened, and it changed, and I don't really know what I'm doing. Like I want to pursue more, creative things, but I don't know if I have the time or energy a lot of the time now. And then I want to probably get a new job, even if it's not in like something I want. I think I just need to get out, at least from this overnight thing. I can't do it anymore. So
Yeah.
just things are definitely gonna change. I just don't know how yet. I need to actually
Right.
like get a plan and push. But yeah.
Well, if you want, I can send you that Merit America website. They have one for data analytics.
Oh. Oh really?
Okay, I'll send that to you. Yeah.
No, for real,
They
because
got
like because like I'm like a loser who like when I'm into sports and stuff, I get into like the data part of it as well. Like I don't just watch the games. I like need to like break down every stat and whatever. So I wonder if if I would find it interesting to just dive into information like that. I don't know. Maybe send it.
yeah, I'll send they have one for IT support, Java development, and data analytics. Yeah, and the nice thing about Merit America, unless this has changed, like I think the first 4 weeks, if let's just say it doesn't fit with your schedule or you're not really comfortable with it, you can drop it and not have to pay anything. So you can do the first 4 weeks, see if it's something, and then you can drop. That's another thing. So they put you in like a Slack to talk to. And during those first 4 weeks, I was one of those people that was like, because people are going like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, hey, do the 4 weeks because right now this lesson is definitely hard, but do the 4 weeks. And if you can't do it, drop out then. I was that person. And then every now and again, like someone else would comment and be like, oh, James is right. But you know what? None of us are dropping out. I'm like, fuck off. Like, that's not what people, that's, you're putting pressure on people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get what you're trying to do. And some people work very well with pressure on them. But being able to be like, hey, you know what? There is a deadline where you can drop out and there's no problems. You can literally drop off and just be done with it. Wipe your hands clean. Get to that point and see where you're at. But yeah, whatever. Merit America was definitely interesting, and it's just there's a bit of me that did that in 3 months, and I don't really remember the coursework. You know, for me, and I won't go into too much details about these things, but for 2023, and these are things for like the past couple years, I kept saying I'm gonna do. And if it wasn't for COVID, I think I would have done at least one of these things. But this year, I want to stream. I want to try to get into streaming. I updated my video card to something that is way too powerful. Like I literally did a test stream, and remember how I sent you I asked your opinion for one of my test streams, and you're like, really 30 frames? Like, come on. And I was like, you're lucky I'm doing that, you motherfucker. I literally did the stream. Like I said, I set it to like automatic settings for the streaming, and right away 60 frames, no problems. Streaming. I'm like, what? I did a recording, 60 frames, no problem. I'm like, what the fuck? It's a very powerful. I got these
Can you do
7900
120
XT.
frames?
Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out. How dare you? I got 20
I don't
gigabytes
even
in this.
have anything that can show 120. Actually, my phone I
Yeah.
think might be able to, but
Oh yeah, maybe.
that's the only thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to stream, and if I do stream, I will probably do a thing on LinkedIn and the Twitter for James and John Try Podcasting. John will probably not be involved in that, but I'm always open for me and John to do more things together. So who knows? This one, I want to try a dating app. I want to try to put myself out there and see if I can maybe meet people. And more importantly, I'm going to prove to all you naysayers out there, I am an ugly piece of shit who will die
Oh my
alone.
God.
Yeah, all you people telling me I'm wrong, I'm going to prove you guys wrong. Fuck you. That's a good reason to get into dating, right?
I have nothing to add.
Thank you, John. I'm glad you agree with me on my looks.
I
Anyway.
give up. I just give up. It took a
uh,
year, but here we are.
I whittled them down.
Actually, it's been really the whole time I've known you, but obviously
Yeah.
it's come up a lot of times during the podcast.
Yeah. Well, I have to look at myself.
But you're not even seeing yourself how people see you. Mirrors are backwards.
Yeah. I want to cook more, so I'm actually going to prepare to make a black cake, a black rum cake this year. So I have to soak it for like a couple months, all the fruits and stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
I have to go buy the fruits. I need to figure out what a candied citrus peel is and candied cherries. Are those maraschino cherries? I don't know.
I don't know shit.
Cool.
Although we have them.
Generic grocery store.
I stock them. I just don't. I don't know.
I don't have a generic grocery store near me. I'm gonna go to a.
Have I said that I work at
generic grocery store
in previous episodes, or just that I work at a grocery store?
You work. I always bleeped it out.
Okay, good.
I will bleep it out. Yeah, at generic grocery store. So I'm gonna go to a generic grocery store near me.
You need to take that clip of you saying generic grocery store and just put it over me saying
generic grocery store.
But take that exact one because it sounded so funny to me.
No problem. And actually, I'm going to be taking a week off in January because my car needs to go into the shop, and Enterprise is way too much money for around me. So I'm actually looking to cook some pylorys. I think I talked about that in our baking episode, but I'm gonna try cooking those because I got all those things. I bought those like a couple months ago, and I just kept pushing it off. So I'm gonna try cooking pylorys, and if they come out terribly, oh well. It's not like there's a Caribbean store near me where I can fucking buy them. And this last one, I want to run a tabletop RPG game. I technically did it last year, but I kind of want to run something more traditional where I'm the GM. I'll have players, and John, you're getting roped into that, so good job.
I don't know about that one.
Okay, so we're not doing the podcast anymore. Got it.
Wait, why does it lead to that?
We talked about this. That'd be another episode, doing a tabletop RPG.
Yeah, no, but then you said just now something more traditional, and I checked out.
Well, not D&D, but something where I'm the GM, you are a player. You know?
You're not a player. You're the GM.
Yes.
Or maybe you can convince me again. We'll see.
You act like you never had fun in the past.
Not enough.
I don't want to hear it. Well, I was gonna say I was gonna convince you, but also you're John, so yeah.
I mean, you've gotten me to. Was this the third one that I've done?
Eliza's Dolly, the one we did with Steve, the one we did with Arthel, the Quiet Ear. I'm blanking on the name of the one we did for the podcast, but
5?
That was technically a table. Yeah, 5.
Oof.
3 of which I know were recorded, and 1 of which was broken up into 2 sessions.
Jesus. Okay.
I will make you like them.
I don't know. I really don't know now.
So yeah, that was 2022, a little bit of 2023. Definitely look forward to the next episode because it may come to a surprise to both you and me. I thought I knew where it was going. Apparently not. That was the podcast for this episode. John, you have any final words to say to our lovely people?
I hope 2022 brought some good experiences to the people listening as well, or just anyone. It's been a rough few years, and I hope 2023 is better because I need it to be better.
Yeah. Like always, if you liked this, please subscribe. Leave a review on iTunes. That's a great way to have other people see that this is a fun podcast that people might enjoy. Share the podcast with your friends, family, the weird person down the street. Just share us. And follow us on our Instagram, TikTok, yeah, TikTok, Twitter, uh, Facebook. We have all those things. It's all in our link tree in the description. And yeah, we like to hear from you guys. So if there's any moments you really like, let us know. Maybe we can clip them out and put them on things like TikTok, Instagram. I should probably put YouTube Shorts, honestly. But yeah, that was the podcast. Thank you for listening, and don't destroy 2023. God, dear God, just don't destroy it. It's in your power.